Hello, this is Erica Swarthy Daisy here with Kinfolk Chat. I wanted to do a quick lunchtime live because I noticed that there were several answers to DNA questions that are provided by 23andMe. And I wanted to just go over them live because they kind of give you a broad overview of what the DNA questions are and some of the things that I actually had questions about as well. So I'll give you guys a minute to jump on. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of these FAQs. All right, so they have FAQs in the area of just overall understanding ancestry composition, interpreting results broadly and unassigned, trace ancestry, etc. But I wanted to kind of take a deeper look into this portion here. This would be a good one. Here it says, why don't my ancestry composition results match what I know about my ancestry? So according to 23andMe, they say we have a high confidence, we have a high confidence in the accuracy of your results and the science behind them. But 23andMe is a genetic testing service, which means we can only show you what is found in your DNA. We recommend that you use your genetic reports together with your family history to build a complete understanding of your ancestry. So that makes sense because, again, this is the DNA portion is merely a guideline for you to give you an idea. So, for example, if you guys are from Georgia or you have family from Georgia and you are you're familiar with the groups of, say, for an African American, for example, if you're familiar with the groups of people that came to your region, like the Gullah Geechee people. I did a video about that. I know there's a distinction between the Gullah and the Geechee, but if you're from the South Carolina, Georgia region, that Gold Coast, what part of Africa do you have in your DNA based on those regions and those ships that came to that part of the US? So you could take some of that information and compare it to what 23andMe provides to give you a more complete picture. But we're going to also look at some more information about the actual DNA results as well, and the FAQs that might answer some additional questions that you have. Okay, so the next one. I know I have Native American ancestry. Why doesn't it show up in my results? So it says your results will include Native American ancestry if a piece of your DNA resembles our Native American reference panel. If your results do not include Native American ancestry, that does not necessarily mean that your understanding of your family heritage is incorrect. So to this point, for those who might have been following me for quite some time, I had Native American ancestry on my report. Actually, way back, I had Polynesian / Native American, but it was like less than 1%. So way back. And then the Polynesian dropped off, and then the Native American stayed, and then the Native American dropped off, and then it came back, and then it dropped off again. And now at the time of the recording of this video, it is showing up as North African. So again, it might still resemble genetically some ancestors that had Native American DNA, and it might be showing up as North African, or maybe the North African was mimicking Native American. So whatever the case is, though, more DNA research is recommended. I know some people say that it could be noise because it's such a small percentage, but it's been across multiple tests. I know for Family Tree DNA, I actually had Native American on there, also my aunt and my mom, but with this recent update, it's completely gone and it's changed to the North African. So there's something interesting in that intersection there to explore. But yes, it says here are a few common reasons why you may not see the Native American ancestry in your results. It says if your most recent Native American ancestor was more than 5 generations ago, you may have inherited little or no DNA directly from them. The farther back in your history you look, the less likely you are to have inherited DNA directly from every single one of your ancestors. This means that you can be directly descended from a Native American without having any Native American DNA. So that's really interesting. Next one, it says your Native American ancestry may be assigned to a broadly category. Even using state-of-the-art science, the Native American and Northeast Asian populations are genetically similar, and sometimes they can't be distinguished from each other with high confidence. So that's another way, a reason, or actually possibility. And then the next one says throughout American history, people without a genetically Native American background have claimed Native American heritage for a variety of social reasons related to the shifting politics of race and indigeneity. Ooh, let me look that one up. I think it's related to the indigenous people, but let me look up how to say that. INDIG, ENEITY, indigeneity. Ooh, that's a tongue twister. Here we go. Indigeneity. Okay. All right. So let's start that sentence over. Or that section. It says throughout American history, people without a genetically Native American background have claimed Native American heritage for a variety of social reasons related to the shifting politics of race and the indigeneity in the United States. As a result, many families without any genetically Native American ancestors have passed down stories about Native American ancestry. For example, they reference an article and a book, Becoming Indian, The Struggle Over Cherokee Identity in the 21st Century. And it's by this person. I'm not even going to attempt. But it looks like Circe Strum. Circestrum is the author's name. Okay, next. They cover why don't my ancestry composition results match the results from that I got from a different company. So this is a good one. And it says, while we are very confident in the way we calculate your results, we cannot make statements about the quality of your results from a different company. But if your results from 23andMe don't match the results you got from a different test, that could reflect differences in how we calculate your genetic ancestry. So that makes sense as well. Different databases, different routines or ways, methods for them to calculate. Okay. This is a good one. Why is my ancestry composition different from my siblings? Even though you have the same parents, you and your sibling only share about half of your DNA. Your ancestry composition may be different in the half of your genome that you don't share. So that's interesting. If you've seen my video between my DNA kit and my brother's, then you'll see that there is a slight difference in our results. And that was with living DNA. All right, so here it covers my results changed. So There are recent update changes. Of course, I did a video on that. Ancestor locations. I liked my old results. Why did my results change? Did my DNA change? Why is my ancestry composition different? I lost an ancestry. Does that mean it was wrong before? And will you update my ancestry composition again in the future? All right, so let's look at the one. It was a couple here I wanted to read over. We'll just start with this one here. It says, what changed with the most recent update? So it says this update to the ancestry composition algorithm improves the accuracy of customers' results while reducing the amount of both unassigned and broadly ancestry. It says, how did the algorithm change in this update? Previously, the models used in the algorithm to reduce noise in a customer's results, a step called smoothing, were trained using the genomes of thousands of customers. These pre-trained models were then applied to each new customer's genome. In this practice, this step was prone to overgeneralizing, which customers saw as results with higher levels of unassigned ancestry or non-specific ancestry, such as broadly Southern European. Analogous to estimating an individual's salary based on statewide salary data rather than data from an individual specific zip code. So this update produces ancestry composition results that are at the same time more accurate and more specific. And then, of course, if you want more, they have a link to a post on the blog, on their blog. All right. So let's see. If you liked your old results, why did your current results change? So it says your DNA ancestry estimate is not set in stone. It is a living analysis, and it's only as good as the reference populations and algorithms we use to predict your results. We're always trying to improve your results, whether it means more specificity or greater accuracy. On average, the accuracy and now I'm getting tongue-tied. Specific. Oh my gosh, I just said this word. Specific. Oh my goodness. I'm cracking myself up. I said it great the first time, and now I'm hung up because I'm trying to analyze the word. But on the average, the accuracy and the dealing with the specifics of the accuracy, because I can't even say the word anymore, of results for customers improves with each update. But we acknowledge that changes may cause confusion for some individuals. Your results may change in the future in a way that better reflects your known ancestry as we continue to improve our reference population and algorithms. Wow. Okay. All right. Did my DNA change? Why is my ancestry composition different? Let's look at that one. It says your DNA does not change, but the tools we use to estimate your genetic ancestry do. And it actually repeats this paragraph where it says your DNA ancestry estimate, blah, blah, blah. So, but that part here, your DNA does not change, but the tools that we use to estimate your genetic ancestry do. So I've, mentioned in several videos in the past that that is typically what the situation is when you see a change in the DNA results. It's not that you have changed or your DNA has personally changed, but it's the system that they use, the sample populations, the samples, the process, the it's pretty much on the DNA company as to why things are changing and improving, really. Um, like we just talked about, my Native American jumping on and off of reports. Now, as far as West Africa, I'm all over the map when it comes to West Africa, so it does show West African DNA, but the breakdown does tend to shift. So if you want to see more about how those changes have been occurring, especially with my latest 23andMe kit update, I'll definitely make sure that you see that um, link to that. There's a link. I'll make sure to link that in the cards and in the description box. All right. So it says, lost in ancestry, does that mean it was wrong before? Not necessarily, because ancestry composition is an estimate. It is common to see small assignments appear and disappear as your results are periodically recalculated. All right. And of course, this is, pretty self-explanatory, but will the changes continue to happen in the future? Absolutely, yes. So, all right. So there are other FAQs for this company, but I just wanted to come on and have a discussion regarding some of the things that you and I frequently have questions about in our minds when it comes to DNA and DNA tests. So if you all have any additional comments that you'd like to make sure to leave it in the comment section below. Once again, this is Erica Swarthy Daisy with Kinfolk Chat. Thank you all so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.